guys? Pulse Panda here. I have a couple things to say before I start my next video. One, we reached 100 subscribers. I know that's not really a lot in the grand scheme of things, but congratulations, you guys. Thank you so much for your support. That's fantastic. Second, I am streaming. I just want to highlight that again. I'm streaming. I'm going to be streaming StarCraft mostly. Come stop by, check it out. You know, info is at pulsepanda.com/stream. That's my schedule and all that stuff. Makes it faster for me. I also want to do some replay analysis and coaching. Send me your replays, please. I want to be able to analyze your guys' replays and help you guys become better players. I'll also be doing that on stream. I want to do a coaching stream, but kind of like what Filter StarCraft does, except different. But I need you guys' replays first. I'm also looking for someone to work with on my videos, preferably platinum or above, but I'm definitely flexible. I want to work on some build orders with you. And I'm trying to get this channel to as many people as possible, so I need your help to spread the love. No homo or anything. So today's episode is all about cheeses. Yes, cheeses. I know everyone loves cheeses. They want to hear about them. They want to learn how to do them. They want to bash on Blizzard for not preventing cheeses from being, happening. But they're a totally viable strategy, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but pros use them. So get over it. But what exactly is a cheese? A cheese is not early aggression, and contrary to popular belief, most things aren't a cheese. When you get 4-gate Stalker Blink all in, that's not a cheese. That's a build. Come on. Cheese is a build which sacrifices something major, and in turn get some early aggression in while doing some damage and blocking something of yours. For example, when building a bunker on the natural expansion of a Zerg was a normal thing to do. I actually haven't seen it recently, but it's not a bad idea, and you're blocking the expansion. That is what that's doing. And the actual definition, according to Blizzard's wiki, is a cheese is a build where you cannot come back if you fail, assuming equal skill. So that being said, the biggest advantage a player has is surprise. So hide yo damn cheese. If you get found with your freaking cannon rush, you need to stop, because you're going to just put yourself further and further behind, and there's no more surprise there. So these videos that are running in the background are cheeses that either succeeded or that failed, and I hope you guys learned something from them. Rewatch the video and watch the cheeses. They are actually kind of interesting, and they give you an idea of what's going on and how to defend them and my points going through. So these are the different types of cheeses. There is a proxy hatchery. There's a 6, 9, or 10 pool. I'm just going to call that an X pool because I'm lazy. There is an X racks, and that's normally a 2 racks. But it can be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's cannon rush, worker rushes, and most things that hit before mid-game with more than 2 worker units is considered a cheese. And mid-game is defined as any time between 4 minutes and 10 minutes, but it's mostly being defined by the opener being done. If you're transitioning into your core composition and you've set your initial path, you need to stick to it. That's the mid-game. So before I go into defending cheeses, here are some quick tips and rules of thumb on how to detect if there's going to be a cheese when you scout with your initial worker. If there's too few workers, like obviously there's not enough workers, there's a cheese. If there's no normal buildings, like if you're scouting the Protoss and they don't have a gateway or anything, it's a cheese. When you spot a cheese, the biggest problem people face is remaining calm. For example, if you see you're being proxy hatcheried, don't freak out, because that's just going to lose you the game. Chill out. Take a deep breath, and pull the boys. Everything said by now, do you really think that the Protoss who blink Stalker all in cheeses you? Yeah, it's hard to recover, but it's completely possible, because they can easily get as much damage done to you as they did it to themselves. Like, if they can freaking blink into your base and snipe some stuff, they got a lot of damage done. If they can take out a barracks or 2, they just made their cheese that you would call a cheese. It's not. They made it viable, and they can come back even if you defend it. If you get 10 bunkers, but they can get damage done, it's not a cheese. They can still come back. I think I made my point. So how do you defend a cheese? Now, I'm gonna say before this can also apply to most early aggression. So most cheeses can be shut down by a worker pull. If you spot a proxy hatchery like you saw in the last game, you pull 8 to 10 workers and attack it, and that shuts it down, problem solved. More specifically though, if you see a proxy hatchery, like I just said, you want to pull 8 to 10 workers, problem solved, don't worry about it. If you see a cannon rush, you need to see that his probe hides in your base after his scouts. When you see it, All you gotta do is pull 4 to 5 workers and attack the probe or the pylon. Attack the probe first if you can't kill the pylon. The pylon can be in your base. It's not gonna do anything. But if the probe is alive, it can be the one placing the cannons in your base. This cheese can also be seen by an SCV scout. If he only has a forge and a pylon, he's cannon rushing you. And the only way to get used to that is just practice. Have one of your friends cannon rush you but only occasionally. Play 10 games and only have him randomly cannon rush you 4 times out of the 10. That way you know instinctively he only has a forge. So now I need to find the cannon rush. An X-Rax is very obvious. Personally, I always scout it as soon as I finish my depot because I want to know what's going on in the game, and it's ladder and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't put you back that much. It may not be optimal or whatever, but it works really well for me. If you send a scout at that time, you'll get to the enemy base before the proxy racks is half done. That gives you plenty of time to prepare with scouting, bunkers, and SCV pulls. Don't underestimate scouting, please. That is the biggest thing low league players don't value as much is scouting. Scouting is huge. It is a huge, huge deal. A worker rush. There's not a whole lot you can do in terms of scouting a worker rush, but keep in mind that they'll have less workers than you, just by nature, because let's just say they start the game and worker rush you immediately. They're sending 6 workers at you. By the time they get to your base, depending on the map, you're going to have 8 or 9 workers. So that's just a number advantage. So any amount of micro is going to guarantee you win. And you don't even necessarily have to do that, but honestly, what else are you going to be doing with your APM? That you're totally ramping, right? So a 6 to 10 pool. You'll usually see this with your worker scout, like I said earlier, when you finish your supply depot, and you'll see that it's happening. If it's a 10 pool, you'll get to their base. They'll have very few drones. You'll see they have a completed pool. By that point, no Zerg should have a completed pool unless they're cheesing you with a 10. And at that point in time, you really just need to finish a wall. Just place a bunker and get ready to pull 3 or 4 SCVs to repair, and that's about all you need to do. Because as long as they can't get into your base and harass your workers, well, you successfully defended their cheese. So it mostly comes down to scouting and remaining calm, and the rest is easy. The pulling the boys is always the biggest thing. If you're able to just pull them out and just repair or use them to buff up your strength of your 1 Marine, then you're basically all set to go, and the cheese is not going to have any problems. So I get that cheeses can be really frustrating, and I totally understand that. Being proxy hatcheried and then Zergling rushed, and then the next game you're getting pylon rushed and cannon rushed, or they're proxying a nexus in your base and photon overcharging it, that's just the most frustrating thing possible. But you gotta remember that everyone has to cheese at some point in time, right? Maybe they've had 10 games in a row just terrible PVT, and they just want to cheese you because they just want to win, right? I mean, people are people too, you know? So just keep calm. The odds of you being cheesed several games in a row are not very good. And they're kind of complicated to cover everything because there's so many different strategies in StarCraft. That's why it's such a great game. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to answer any questions you have about this. I feel like cheeses are basically the biggest demoralizer in StarCraft 2 among the entire community ever. If you look at the StarCraft 2 subreddit or the Battle.net forums, about half the posts are about cheeses, and it's not something that's obviously easy to defend, but it's easy to defend because you just have to know how to react, and that's the trick. Just practice, practice, practice. Reacting to a cheese is 100% practice. So that's about all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. That was my biggest goal for this video, is teaching you how to defend a cheese and how to scout them, because that's huge, you know? So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you go out there and practice this because it's a huge deal and it'll improve your gameplay a whole lot. And one of the easiest way to learn cheeses is to just play the cheese. So if you're having issues defending a 2-racks, like 10 games in a row, and then figure out, you know, what do I need to do to win the 2-racks, and what is he doing to beat my 2-racks, and then you'll get better a lot like that. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave your comments in the comments below. That's what it's for. That's why they named it that. It's fantastic. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.